Thanks for staying with us. Now, some have called it branding. Others say it's packaging. Online influencer and actor Eriata Ese shares on IG, and I quote, "I don't care how this sounds. Fake it till you make it for the right reasons." That's what she said. She then goes on to share how her friend lost a multi-million naira deal just because she didn't show up to the meeting with an SUV, a driver, a mopo, like the way they do when they want to bid for a contract in a big company. She then said, "It's obvious we now rate people by their appearance, what you wear, the car you drive, and the area/house you live in, especially in Lagos." Now, to think this friend of mine has access to all the packaging and decided to just drive her salon car and go there. I mean, deliver what she had to deliver based on the benefit that she thought she would bring to the table, and if they would bring her onto the project, you know, she would just bring her intellectual value. So just because there was no wash, that's according to her, to go with intelligent performance, they gave the job to someone who came with the wash. So are we all guilty of faking it, right, till we make it? And hasn't faking become an acceptable strategy for success in our world today? And that's our question tonight. So please let us share what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Okay, who do I start with, Nadam? Elsie Godwin, how fake are you? Because now
I don't have an atom of fakeness in me. That's the thing. What you see is what you get. But before we get into the conversation, because I feel like this. Wait, now one question you asked me. Make I talk. Should I go ahead?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so what she put up on social media, you know how people just, I mean, a lot of us just read content and we just digest it without properly thinking about it. And from what she put out there, I don't think she had complete information. And most of us just run along and feel like, oh, I wasn't treated right, I didn't get this job because this and this happened. And I mean, if your friend had access to every other thing the other person had to bid for this job, why exactly would you go unprepared? Because that's what I would call it. When it comes to packaging, which is what I think she was talking about in that post, not exactly faking it, there are jobs you have to bid for, you want to bid for, and you have to dress the part. It is not a Nigerian thing, it's a global thing. You cannot go and be bidding for a multi-million naira job and then you're looking
like somebody that like cannot handle 10,000 naira.
You're still talking 10,000. You have not eaten breakfast or lunch, and you think they will give it to you. It is never going to happen. It is not just about Nigeria. Yes, it is higher here because, like the conversation you've been having from the Oba incident and all we can take away from it, how we now look to showing off as the way of life to a certain degree. Yeah, so it is higher here, but it is just what it is. When I am coming to give you a job that is in billions, and when you look at that billions, the margins that you will make in it is probably saying you are going to make something close to, say, let me just be nice and say maybe a 20 million naira or even a 50 million naira, right? And you are telling me that you have handled that kind of money before. You're not saying this is your first time. Please help me. You have handled it before. I'm sorry, if you're doing businesses that you gain that kind of money, that's your gain. I'm not talking of your execution money. Then you just have to look at it. It is what it is. So I just wanted to put that out there before we even take it backwards to really talk about faking it till you make it, because I think those are two different things entirely. Okay, so let me come to Uti. What are your initial thoughts when you saw this post? Then I'll come to Dami.
Well, Elsie has spoken my mind, my spirit, my everything in the matter. There are two clear differences. First of all, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. If the first impression you make is not right, then that's it. And look, you can't be rocking up to a place to go and get a contract of 100 billion, and then the person is not sure whether you're going to abscond with the 100 billion because you look lost. So I don't know the backstory to that post, but the reality of it is that you come with your A game. And if your A game involves looking the part, then you best look the part. I know we can look at it from the context of there are so many fake people there who, fake people out there who have no substance, but they're packaging. That's different. For you to get your foot in the door, you first of all have to look the part. You have to look like you came to the table with something. If you come in and people are not sure whether you've come to the table with something, then you can't blame anybody else. So there are two different ways. I mean, yes, do we have people who are packaging and faking it till they make it? I am a strong believer of fake it till you make it. And I don't mean it from the external. Sometimes you have to tell yourself inside, in your head,
which
that
is the
you're good
of that quote,
or you're capable of doing something, and you talk yourself into capacity. So there are so many different ways when, you know, that phrase covers so many things. So if you're bringing your A game to the table, you best look it even if you don't feel it. But if it is just the packaging now becomes the substance where there is nothing inside, then of course there's a problem. Judging the book by the cover, that's a Nigerian thing. I mean, it's not going to stop today. It's a cultural thing. So we can come and talk about it and say we agree, we don't agree. Yes, there's good and bad in everything, including this. Thank you very much.
Okay, that means
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I agree with what is been said, and on the angle of faking it till you make it, that's what I want to talk about.
No problem.
Now, just like Uti said, you have to condition your mind in a particular way. Not everybody woke up comfortable and rich. There's something called emotions and vibration. A lot of the time, before you can even amount to anything, you have to step up your vibration to be able to attract. That is where the law of vibration comes into play and where the law of attraction comes into play. Because I'm a student of self-development, so I play very well in this space. But the type of faking it will make it we're talking about is not really talking about psyching up our mind. I'm trying to attract substance into our life. It's more about people who put themselves out there to be what they are not. I suppose that's the angle we're having this conversation around.
Yeah, we can have it on all angles.
Yes, so if that is what we're looking at, there's a lot of that on social media. People will drive to a very posh neighborhood and take a picture, whereas they live in Ajegule. There's a lot of that goes on online. Now, it could be because, one, the peer pressure on social media. I realized that peer pressure has left the children's space is now amongst we adults. A lot of us feel a lot of pressure based on what you see. There was
like your car is pressuring me,
Sorry.
With your what's it called? Customized number plate.
That is deliberate and that is for marketing.
It's your brand.
Yes, it's deliberate so that
Lexus.
I know a number of people that have sent me DMs because they saw me drive by and say, "Oh, I never know about this Milola brand before. I saw your number plate and I decided to send you a message." I get that a lot, which means it serves the purpose. Now, if I wasn't selling, like I need visibility, would I or would I not? I probably would not. I probably would not. And I remember there was a time I coveted that same car some years back before I finally...
Yes, I remember your post.
Exactly. So, do you fake it in that sense? Yes, you can fake it till you make it, as long as you do not violate your values. The kind of thing we're talking about are people who would really lie, like blatantly lie. In my room, I fake my environment. The current house I'm living in has been in my old apartment for years. The next one I'm moving into is in my current house. That's how I function. That's how I roll. Is that faking it? Yes, that's faking it till I make it. My next car is actually another white one. It's actually on my wall right now. So if you're working on your mind, if you're trying to achieve something, and as long as it is not unethical, immoral, I think it's fine to do that. But when you have to do things that you know that if you are caught in the act, you'll be disgraced, then that's not necessary.
Okay, so...
Like Uti's friend, Blessing Okoro.
Okay.
Who's that?
Elsie.
Uti knows.
Elsie, Uti, I will leave you people. I will remove my mic.
Right now.
My darling, I'm giving you eye.
Don't be calling her name and my name in the same sentence, you know.
Okay, so, you know, there's the part of content, right? And where does content play out? Because in all of these things, when I read this post, I was saying that is it possible that you truly, Uti, would walk into a space, even though you did not come in the SUV, you didn't come in with the mopole, you didn't come with all the paparazzi around, but your content was very watertight. Is it possible that you will still be turned down just because you did not look the part?
Absolutely.
Really?
That means, like Alti said, you didn't do your research. If that look is important to the people you're dealing with, you best come correct.
I don't agree completely.
It's sad. It's sad. Look, I'm not saying it's the ideal. There's utopia and there's reality. You will, in truth, maybe find one or two people who will give you the time of day and hear what you have to say. But the truth is, people have summed you up before you open your mouth. So if you have done your research and you know that, look, for some people, it doesn't matter. There's some people who your parents doesn't matter to them. They want to have a meeting with you. They can call you, have a meeting by the side of the road. You could be talking $1 billion deal. And it doesn't matter because that's not what they're rating you on. But if you are dealing with business with somebody, you better know and have done your research and the person that you're dealing with. So if that is what it takes for you to get the attention of the person to then be able to sell yourself, then give yourself the best opportunity. Why are we doing holier than thou so that you now say the person is the problem? No, every individual is unique. Every person is different. It's about how well you do your research. So if you know that, this guy likes to eat amala, you go to amala joints and you see, massive cars, expensive cars out there. If you know that's where the guy likes to eat, are you going to take him to a 5-star restaurant? Are you going to get the best out of him there? Does that mean he's faking it? That's what he likes. So if you know that that's going to open the doors for you and that's what's going to get it to sail through, then it's called preparation. I'm sorry, I can't relate on this angle.
Okay, Dami, you said she disagreed with Uti. Why?
Now, what I mean is, I agree with all she said, but I do not think that it is exclusive that if you do not have a particular appearance, you don't get a chance. No. One thing is, we all have this thing called a humph. It's an energy that when you come into a space, people can feel your vibe and know right on if they want to deal with you or not, irrespective of how you're dressed. And that is one thing that is also very critical. There's something that they say success leaves clue. If someone meets with you, they know right on if they want to deal with you or not. And there's a particular movie that Will Smith acted on, and he appeared really, really funny.
Rugged.
He was painting his house, he got arrested, and then he had to show up unprepared and everything, but the men still give him a chance because of the oomph, because of the energy, because of the vibration. You can find yourself in a situation where you're not really looking the part at the time, but when people, it's just like when they say when a poor man wears boxer shorts, you can tell. You can always have that vibration, you can always have that energy that separates you from a commoner, that would give you a chance to still be heard, even when you're not properly packaged. So I do not think that it is in all situations that you have to be all dressed up to your teeth in a particular attire before you can get a chance to be.
Okay, so Elsie, you wanted to say something?
Yes, regarding the question you asked, content. Sometimes content would push you forward, and I'll use myself as an example. Before I make the example, I also want to bring it home to this show. I mean, this is your creation and your idea, and you're bringing people together to make this work, but at the end of the day, even if a person has all the content and you think that person doesn't look the part, you will not bring that person on this show. You would even tell the person, they're posting, I want to be on the show, I'll tell you, I'll talk to you later. But let's be honest, that is it. Now we are bringing it back to our own profession, my darling, and what we do for TV.
Does the content not matter
media,
in that sense?
It does matter, but you know that it just wouldn't work, right? And now, from what Uti said and what you were talking about in terms of content, I remember, I think this was 7 years back, if I'm not mistaken. I've been in the digital marketing space for a long time. Like when people didn't even understand what it was, when it was just blogging and doing a lot of content pushing, your BBM, WhatsApp and all, I really wanted to get a project done at the time. And I knew that I know what I needed to do to push this brand forward. I think at the time, it was as little as what you would say the budget was, because now when you're hearing budget for marketing, it's crazy for digital marketing. But then the budget was around 7 million naira. And I had not done a job of that magnitude in that space at the time. I had not done it, but I knew what I wanted to do. And I was speaking to this person, and I knew I could handle it. And the person understood. He knew that I could do it. But because of that content, what he did was to sit me down and say, this is what I'm going to do for you. And what did he do? That project was big, but he broke it down and gave me a part of it to handle. He said, Elsie, if you handle this project and you do it well, if I'm telling them to give you
a bigger one,
you have the proof of concept.
So let's not forget processes and how you get to that point. And also, yes, no matter how much of the content you have, if you do not begin to agree with yourself and accept where you are, it's just like when we're talking about accepting your excellence and also accepting your flaws. accept your advantage and accept your disadvantage, and then begin to play around that space and take what you can take until you can climb to that level. But if you are just coming out of school and you just really think that you want to be hustling with a multi-million,
it's not even coming out of school, Elsie. You know what? See what you just said. What you just said actually just struck something to me. So my dad has been in building construction for years. I mean, if you know the first, what's it called, the Bank of the North, the first story building that they ever built in the North, I mean, very high rise. He was working in a German company then. He was part of the contractors, I mean, the people that supervise those projects. So he's done so many huge projects. But because he doesn't have all of these things properly documented.
Thank you.
So we had an opportunity to get a job that was quite huge, and the people kept going, we don't know you.
No proof.
We do not know what you can handle. So you cannot use your mouth and say, no, I've done this work, I've done this work, I've done this work. So you understand? So at some point, everybody thinking, I want to build a brand, I want to build a whatever. Those documentation. So when my children see me these days, Mom, you're always on videoing, you're always there. I said, no, I have to, because
you have to document your process.
If you do not have a track record, right, nobody is going to listen to you, no matter how good your content is. Nobody will give you that chance, because they will believe that Elsie will just run away with my 1 billion naira. She has never done any, because I have not seen any project that she's done that is worth 1 billion naira. But you know what? Let's take a break. So we're going to open our phone line. Stay with us, we'll be right back. If you're just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we're asking, how did we get to the point where we normalize faking it till you make it? That's our question. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone line is now open. You can call us on 070-2500-7749. That's 070-2500-7749. Please, when you call, turn off the volume of your television set and try to keep your conversation within a minute so we can have more people call into the show. So, Elsie, you were going to say something forward on the break.
I was going to piggyback on what you have said, and also what the lady we started the story with was talking about. And she was able to come out to tell us, oh, my friend went with a camera or whatever, and somebody went with all this. With
a Prado,
But you don't know the structure the person who went there with all the whole packaging has in his or her businesses, and how that structure trumps whatever your friend has. Because sometimes, yes, we have these ideas and we are running along solo and we are doing a lot of things because we can do it, or we can outsource jobs to also get the same projects done. But there are people who already have structures. They have people that they can say, these people are under my payroll. They have offices. Like you mentioned something earlier about COVID-19 opening our eyes to doing things from home. Before now, we did not understand these things. So if you do not have a proper structure, people are not going to take you serious, and which is why partnership is important. So if you're coming up and you know you're getting to that point where you want to begin to do some certain projects, why not find a way to partner with other people? So if the project is a 100 million project and your capacity, you know that you can handle the segment or section that is for 5 million or 10 million naira, you all are partnering and you're getting the job done. That's just basically
I believe in the power of collaboration. I mean, ways like you were mentioning, talking about Ways Show would not be a success today if I did not partner with the beautiful women on the team, because it's a partnership. We're all seeing that, okay, yes, this is a good product, but how do we build the brand and move it, you know, churning out quality content all the time. I would have as well sat down to say, no, I have the idea in my head, I want to sit down, I want to do it. It would not have worked, you know. So I believe strongly, I'm a strong believer of partnership. But let me come to you, Uti. Uti Elu. So, but you know, there's a thin line, right? There's a thin line between branding yourself to be the brand, or packaging yourself and, you know, faking it. Because faking it in that sense, in the word in itself, it's like you are projecting who you're not. Those are two completely different things. And I think we always interchange it. You understand? We've made that line so blur that we cannot see when it is that the time that we are faking and the time that we are trying to probably brand ourselves. Is that correct?
So I mean,
okay, you know what, Uti, hold on, please. Let me just quickly take a call. I'll come back to you on that. Hi, hello. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say, please.
Okay, good evening, ladies. My name is
Charles.
I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, yeah, you people are doing a very good job there.
Thank you.
Good to see Uti again. Well, I think in as much as you're not violating anything or you're not spoiling it, I don't see anything wrong with faking it. In as much as you have what it takes and you really possess the qualities, or maybe you really have an idea of what you actually want to do, I don't see anything wrong in it. Because of the way the society is, if you don't present yourself in a very good way, people don't tend to give you a job or whatever it may be. But I think I have an experience when somebody actually was supposed to do a job for me. It was a building, a construction. Because I saw the one my friend did, so I was like, okay, let me see the engineer, what the engineer can do for me as well to something like this. So I gave him the number, I called the guy. So when the guy came, I was expecting a huge person with well polished and a good car. All I saw was one brief guy like that, then looking very funny, and he was not even driving. So I was like, I was disappointed. Even while I was talking to the guy, I was not talking to the guy well. I was like, okay, no problem, I will call you back. And I called my friend back and said, is it the guy that actually did that job? He said, yes. I said, but it doesn't look it. But to cut the whole thing short, later on I gave the guy the job and he did it. But sometimes, in general, people tend to believe what they see. Absolutely. When you present yourself in a good way, people tend to give you as in you have what it takes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Charles. Thank you so much. That was a very good good experience. But so going back to the question that I asked Uti about blurred lines, have we blurred that line between branding, packaging, and faking it?
The line certainly has blurred a lot more, and there are factors to that. There is the number one factor for me is social media. Social media is the home of fake it till you make it. Absolutely. Now, somebody once said to me, I had this conversation and I said, oh, social media is so negative. Everybody is portraying what they're not. And she says, well, you only see it that way because you equate social media to reality. But the minute you start to change your perspective of social media to say that people are building the versions of themselves that maybe they want to be, or they're building the versions of themselves that sell a story or a narrative that they want to put out there. Certainly, hear that when you go onto a social media page and they have 1 or 2 followers, even if they have a product that you love, that you like the look of, you may think twice. Because there's no validation there to say this is genuine or whatever the various things are. So those lines are constantly blurring more and more, because what is happening is that social media has created that, it's like coming down the road and then the road splits in two. Social media has created that divide that says those people who are still trying to be real, as we put it, and be themselves, versus those who are faking it and making it. But the fact is, some people fake it on social media to get the followers that eventually help them to make the money to catch up to what they were portraying. This is just an example. So everything is perspective. Yeah, there are those people, no doubt, that you can say they've done it and there's no substance to it. I said it on the show before. Murder and self-defense is the same act. It's perspective that changes it. If you actually look at it and say, look, what is the motivation behind it? For me, that's the thing. I see people, and my friends and I, we joke about this all the time. I see people who won't spend 100K to take their children out for a fantastic experience, but they're wearing a 500K, carrying a 500K slippers, 400K, 500K bag. And I'm thinking, the memories you're building with the children, it's going to be worth infinitely, it's priceless. But you can't justify that cost in your mind, like, I beg these children. But you can justify the bag and the shoe and the hair and all of that. So for me, that line is definitely blurred. It's being exacerbated by a lot of different factors. But you as an individual, it still comes down to you. As we've always said, everything is a decision.
Yeah.
People have people lost jobs because they didn't have the right profiles? Yes. Today, when you apply for a job in most big organizations, they ask for your social media handles. All of them.
Really?
Do you portray the right image? Do you say you are who you are? There are people that when you see their LinkedIn profiles, when you meet them, you're like, excuse me, huh? Yeah, it's all faking it till you make it. But everybody has a goal. They have a reason why they're doing it. That reason for me is what is key. For some people, it's the right reason. For some people, it's the wrong reason.
Okay, so where does this become? What's it called? Where does this become a sin?
Harmful. Yeah.
Because
where does it become harmful?
Where does it become a sin? Because now this fake it till you make it is why a lot of people go into crime.
True.
They go into all sorts of crime to be able to, you know, okay, they are trying to portray a certain aim. That's the word, level up.
To level up, yeah.
Thank you.
Person go see, whether you put something. So Uti was saying
something
I think that I picked on, which is about perspective and your personality as well speaking for you. So if I was going to answer that question first, I'll probably have said, you know what, the lines are being blurred for people who want it to be blurred, because what I'm saying, I've always talked about it on this show about how I curate my timeline and the things I want to project and even what I want to feed on, right? And it takes me to this message I saw on social media from a Muslim cleric actually, and it says, today many are sad and delusioned because they fail to appreciate what the Almighty has bestowed on them. They scoff at his blessings because they are too busy admiring the fake life portrayed by some on social media. Remember to be grateful before it's taken away from you. You are just busy admiring, like what she said, people that are trying to create something in order for them to get that thing they are trying to create. They don't have it yet. Some of them do, let's not get it wrong. Some of them really do have what they say they have. But there are people who, it is their job to look good online. That is the job description. It's just like coming on TV. You cannot come on TV and you're not looking good. Does it mean that I probably did not cry last night? Or does it mean that I did not spend the money that I was telling you that I spent today that I don't want to spend? You know, it doesn't mean that those things are not happening, but it comes with the job. You have to smile, you have to talk, you have to have opinions, even when you don't feel like having opinion. The best you can do is to say, you know what, today I'm not going to be on this production. But as long as you are on the set, you push everything away and you're smiling and everybody thinks that your own life is perfect.
It's perfect.
I'm listening to Elsie, I'm listening to what I want to hear what they're saying. It comes to whatever job you have chosen. Now, social media has brought the influencer marketing business, and it means that if you want to be associated with certain products or certain brands, then you have to look a certain way, your page have to look a certain way, your personality have to look a certain way. It also gets to another level of influencer marketing where your lifestyle in the real world have to actually match what you do, which is what she was talking about. So social media, your handles, there are jobs you put your social media handle, you might qualify, but they won't take you because you cannot project them the way they want to be projected.
Let me come to you.
Let me give an opinion based on my observation. There's something called, what's the word? Where we all deposit ourselves, collective thought and collective energy. If you notice something with the advent of social media, there's a lot of vice and a lot of hue to it. But if you really also look again, because whatever it is you're watching out for is what you're going to see predominantly.
Thank you.
If you're watching out for the good side, there's the beautiful side of social media in terms of faking it so you make it. A lot of people have leveraged other people's strengths, their presentation, their style, their consistency to actually find the energy and the strength to get up and move. And you would not take away the beauty of such input. Now, are we aware of the age we're in? We're in a technology age. We need to come to terms with that. The world is flat. We all are globally connected. Whether you're in Afghanistan or you're in Nigeria, you can connect with people all over the world, different platforms. What does it tell you? It tells us that we are still holding on to the world as we used to know it, and we're not aware that the world is changing very quickly with the advent of social media. And there's a lot of perks, there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages to it. It is important that we know that the world is changing and the people needs to change. If you fail to evolve, you're either going to be left aside, or you're going to get obsolete. So it is also good to know that faking it has a lot of advantages when you look at the benefits to it. I give you an example. I don't want to mention any brand on social media. Watching their business thrive would force you to drive your own house. And that's the positive side of it. But do you have to then do everything they do? No. You have to choose your battle. You have to choose what works for you. It's not everybody that I see on social media that inspire me to do everything they're doing, but I can use them as an inspiration to know, okay, if I see these people run their business in this way, what can I learn and how do I make my A game better? So for me, there's that positive side to it. The one that is negative is when you have to go and commit a crime, or you have to do something that put your hands or put your name in the dark. That's the one I am not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. As we are drawing close, because now it's like all of you are agreeing that we have to fake it. How do we fake it? Because now,
see, you know, she said something. There is a line, no?
Yeah.
You cannot go and be borrowing clothes.
I know.
Well, you
It's
can
part of
borrow,
it.
but one of the ones that actually buy
Ah.
and not pay, and you're going into debt.
Listen.
It's
You
not part of
always-
it.
There was a
It is
time
not
our
part
top
of
celebrities
it.
in this country that we call celebrities now,
They
they were
take
dragging them on
garment
social media
now.
for not
Till
not
now,
paying.
they do it, and
For
I'm
not paying
saying
for bags.
Always
that is not the
Your
way to
said
go.
one of your senator, I will not mention his name, that was dragged on social media
For not
because
paying for his
a car that he bought that
I
he
know
did
his
not
name
pay.
was-
So
that
I'm
mentioned-
saying that
It has to do with their personal agenda.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that are naturally flawed, and they become more flawed by watching the wrong influences. There are people that want to do right by themselves, and they watch social media and step up their vibration and step up their game and become better
Thank
for
you.
it. It's about what you choose to take out of social media.
And
What's
people,
your-
people have mental issues. I'll
that's
give you
another-
a practical example. I mean, you are seeing this lady sitting down here. You can see how fresh her skin is and everything, right? I went on her page. She posted her natural looking self like she always do. And I saw a comment. The comment said, so this is your real face. You are not even fine. And I don't know if you saw that comment.
I took it out.
And I'm wondering, are you seeing
Like,
what
seriously?
I am seeing?
A lot of people would hate on
Clearly,
you. I didn't even know
are
you
not okay. Because if you are okay, you will not be saying such things to
it's the
somebody
perspective
else.
of the person.
Thank
No,
you.
it's not just the
if your
perspective, it's a
and your
mind that is dark. It's a mind that is messed
and you're not
up.
getting help,
They
then
would
you cannot
always
blame
pick
us.
up the holes. They would always look for fault in other people.
Uti.
It was crazy when I saw that comment.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
All right. So I have a comment from Benson, and it says, "Good evening, ladies. The power of vision and foresight will always be superior to the perception of the now. The real people that run what transforms the global trend don't fake anything to make it happen, from software to technology. Those that fake it are largely at the tail end. Those that can identify and use them are the real McCoy." Interesting.
That's another angle. It depends on where it applies for me. though.
Yeah.
It depends on where it applies. That angle works in some place. You cannot fake anything. You have to be real 100%. But it's about mindset. And do you know one beautiful thing I learned about life? Nothing is real.
Nothing is
Trust
real.
me, nothing is real.
Okay, Austin from Benin. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, good evening to all of you.
Hello.
So faking doesn't really work out in all areas. Maybe in the showbiz area, well, it could work, but in other areas it will not. But I think what we should really look out for is what this person has to offer, not necessarily his appearance. Appearance is good, but you have to be able to check what this person has upstairs if you will be able to deliver, you know. And again, when you come, like in the area of engineering, what we look at is your experience and your profile. Like your dad, for instance, if he had documented all those jobs that he did, put them in pictures and all that, it would have been okay. So please, I think we do it a lot in this country, but the most important thing is that you have to now look out for what that person has to give. For instance, let me digress a little bit. I appreciate women more when they show, I mean, I appreciate the intelligence in women more than physical appearance. I mean, when I discuss with you and you're making sense, I appreciate you more. But maybe some persons are carried away with physical appearance. But that's not me. Sorry, I mean, I appreciate women more with the, you know, kind of...
We understand you, Austin. Thank you for calling.
Yes.
He yes. So he's a sapiosexual.
Before he finds out what is inside the woman's brain, what attracts the woman to him first?
Appearance matters.
Okay, so we ran out of time. Uti, let me just hear your final thoughts. I'll come to Elsie.
I think that we said we dissected it in pretty much every angle you can think about it. I think I would just leave it with, you know, whether you're faking it or not, just make sure that the substance is genuine. Because eventually, if you are faking it, you will never make it. If the substance isn't there to back it up, you will continue to fake it, you know. So that phrase, fake it till you make it, is also a process. So make sure that you don't abandon the process at the fake it stage. You keep going and developing till you actually make it.
Absolutely. How about you, Elsie?
Yeah, so fake it till you make it is not the literal term that would take. If you Google and read about it, you understand where it's really coming from. It's not exactly just living a fake life, right? So I would just encourage people to, like she said, focus on the content, do things right, and also dress for the occasion. Package whatever you need to package and get it done. The comments she took from, I don't know who was talking
Benson,
about people on the higher cadre for tech not having to fake it. My dear, have you seen them preparing for their pitches that's giving them that investor money? I have a couple of them as friends, and I tell you, it is no joke. So when you talk of packaging yourself and branding yourself right, and also merging that with content, it cuts across board. Whether you are on top or you are below, just the degree at which you have to do it might differ, but you have to look the parts.
How about you?
I agree, really, 100. You have to work on the content, you have to develop character, you have to put yourself properly out there. You don't want to have to be explaining why you showed up wrong in a space. So fake it, but make sure you have the content to back it up. Pretty much that for me.
All right, so this is Austin from Delta, your regular fan. Thank you. Can you see that the trajectory on mindset resonates here? Uwa, I agree with you on track record. You can't give what you don't have. If Wole Soyinka stunted into a gathering on T-shirt, he can never go unnoticed, but he'll be brought to the high table. However, if you are going for an interview, you need to come looking good, not extravagantly dressed, but be in your best element rather, with needed which needed no faking. With the needed content, so no faking. That's what he's saying. Thank you so much, Austin. All right, so thank you, everyone. I think we had a fantastic conversation.
Well, you didn't particularly give a lot of angle to this conversation.
So no, I
would like to hear your close.
My own thoughts is, honestly speaking, I think we shouldn't mix it up, right? If you have to package yourself because you want to bid for something, package right. Then I do not believe, I mean, I think I gave my opinion about collaboration. Like Elsie rightly said, if you are going for a big contract like what this lady had mentioned, and you know you not have, maybe your company portfolio is not big enough to handle such a
collaboration,
don't be afraid to bring people on board. Together you can win. So it is also that angle that we also need to start to reprogram our minds, that I don't have to be the one doing it all by myself.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uti, Dami, and Elsie. So we'll see you. Before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop your comment, and most importantly, we're planning a giveaway just to say thank you to you for believing in the Waze brand. So do well to follow us, and follow us now. Is at PlusTvAfrica on Instagram. Like, share, invite your friends and family to also follow. So if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Real is rare. Fake is everywhere. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.